the throne room of covenant, a sacred inner place. In a spiritual philosophical sense, the throne room symbolizes the most intimate, sovereign place within a person, the seat of divine communion where the soul encounters God directly. It's a metaphor for the innermost sanctum of one's being, reserved not for external relationships or transient attachments, but for a holy and enduring covenant, the sacred agreement between the soul and the divine. When we allow someone else to enter, it implies a form of spiritual breach, often done unknowingly through emotional entanglement, unhealthy soul ties, or placing another person in a position of ultimate influence, where God alone should sit. Mending the relationship, philosophical layers. Recognition of displacement. Before repair comes recognition. Philosophically, this mirrors Plato's notion of misordering the soul, when the rational or divine-aligned part is dethroned by the appetitive or emotional. The soul becomes disordered when we allow external entities, even well-meaning ones, to rule in spaces that belong to the eternal. In spiritual terms, this is idolatry of intimacy, not always about statues or religions, but about giving divine authority to a human source. The mending begins when we acknowledge, I gave someone access to what was not theirs to hold. This awareness is not rooted in shame but in alignment. Return to first love. The concept of teshuvah in Hebrew, often translated as repentance, literally means to return. Mending your relationship with God is not starting over but returning to where you and God last met without interruption. That return is both painful and healing, because it involves pulling away from a soul misaligned and realigning the compass of your covenant. Philosophically, this is a return to essential being, to what Martin Buber calls the I-thou relationship, where you speak with God not through utility or desperation, but through pure presence. The throne room is reclaimed through presence, not performance. Rebuilding sacred boundaries. Once you reclaim the throne room, it becomes necessary to re-establish the sacred boundary, not as a wall, but as a frame that honors divinity. Simone Weil said, "To love purely is to consent to distance. It is to adore the distance between ourselves and that which we love." In this mending, one learns that intimacy with others must never replace intimacy with the divine. Others can join the outer courts of your life, but the throne room is where God and the soul meet in holy privacy. Forgiveness of self and other. In letting someone into your covenant space, it is easy to dwell in regret or resentment. But healing demands forgiveness both inward and outward, not to excuse the breach but to unbind the cords of spiritual codependency. Philosophically, this is a kind of ontological forgiveness, releasing the burden of trying to undo the past and instead integrating it as wisdom. Sanctification through scar. Lastly, the throne room isn't restored by pretending the breach didn't happen. It is sanctified by the scar, a reminder that love, misplaced or not, can teach. In spiritual philosophy, this reflects the cruciform pattern, the idea that the very place of wounding can become the place of glory. The mended covenant becomes stronger, not because it was never torn, but because it was stitched with intentional grace. To allow someone into the throne room of your covenant is to misplace the axis of your being. To mend that relationship is to return to the silence where only God's voice reigns and say again, "Here I am, yours alone."